little later leaving Salt Lake City than we had planned. We were trying to get to the Clark's Fork of the Yellowstone in time to set up camp before dark. As we rolled into Cody, Wyoming, we went to the local fly shop, Wyoming Trout Guides, to get some advice. Local reports were that the Clark's Fork was cloudy and had very few trout in it, mostly just mountain whitefish. The nearby Shoshone River was reported to be absolutely on fire, with large fish and plenty of them. So we adjusted our plan, headed to the Shoshone, and set up camp on BLM land. After a delicious dinner of chicken Caesar salad, the boys geared up and hit the water to see what they could do. James caught a few nice fish, and Jeffrey was skunked. In fact, the vultures began to gather in hopes that he might starve to death. The next morning began with a hearty breakfast of cooked cereal and thick-cut bacon. As we geared up to get on the river, we noticed the rain clouds that were beginning to gather. James put his considerable uranymphing skills to work and immediately started catching fish. Meanwhile, Jeff and Joe caught nothing.
Dude, he's a big fish. You saw the net. Take your time, man. Oh, shit. Yeah, look at that fish, man. That's definitely over 16. I know, the colors on these guys are amazing.
Soon the rain began to turn the water to chocolate milk. We piled into the Yodosaur and started leapfrogging down the river, trying to stay ahead of the mud. Jeff shooed off his vultures by catching this beautiful brook trout. We headed back to Cody to the fly shop to lie about the size of the fish we'd caught, replace our lost flies, and add a few new ones. We got some great advice about the Wind River / Bighorn River and the Miracle Mile that helped us decide what to do next.
Huge help to us more. We appreciate you coming in. Yeah, no problem. Yeah. Sorry the rain kind of put a damper on things, but I'm glad you got a day.
We thought you would change that for us. But
Yeah.
We came back to ask you, but so we're gonna have to move on to Miracle Mile.
That's right. Well, good luck down there.
We won't have to deal with
You won't have to deal with the muddy water down there. That's
Exactly.
So, yeah, cool.
Well, thanks again.
You got it, man.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming in.
Take care.
Appreciate you coming.
Whether you call them antelope, speed goats, or more correctly pronghorns, it's impossible to cross the high plains without seeing these majestic animals. As we continued eastward across the open range, the geology began to change. First we noticed huge bluffs, and then soon rugged, deep, rocky canyons. This is where we found the Wind River. It looked so good we just had to stop and give it a try. The boys soon began to catch more and bigger fish than we had on the Shoshone. This caused us to decide to go ahead and spend the night here. With only 2 days left in our trip, we spent the morning fishing and then headed for the Miracle Mile. The Miracle Mile is about a 5-mile long tailwater section of the Platte River. It is managed for world-class trophy trout fishing. We quickly selected a campsite alongside some fishy-looking water and the boys hit the river. Immediately we began catching the biggest fish of our trip. Just upstream from our camp, these islands split the river into 2 amazingly productive riffles. Downstream from our camp were several large, deep pools. That night, we tucked into some terrific hanger steak and then hit the rack. The next morning, we took the Yodosaur out for a stretch and to look for higher ground from which we could better see the river. From our high vantage point, we could see miles of the river, and we agreed unanimously that next year we'll spend an entire week just here. Whilst filming this footage, I noticed something strange underneath the boulder the boys were standing on, and quickly realized this was an old mountain lion den. So we left. Sadly, after a week of fantastic fishing and great company, it was time to head back to Salt Lake. Along the way, I wanted to stop and show the boys something I'd found a couple of years ago in the Seminole Mountains. These depressions in the rock are the ancient footprints of dinosaurs. Thank you to James and Jeffrey Tucker for taking time out of their schedules to go on this trip with me. I'm Joe Tucker with the Gen 5 Runner channel. If you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. Subscribe.